Hello, this is David Waumsley, and on today's Beaver Builder website Stripdown, I am joined by Colin Cartwright. Some of you may recognize him as the voice behind the Beaver Builder videos, but today he's showing me around one of his electrical services websites, which is Colin's niche market. I'm not going to take up your time now because this is quite a long one and Colin covers an awful lot of stuff, but I hope you enjoy it as much as I did, and I'll see you on the other side. Bye-bye. Hey Colin, welcome to Beaver Builder Stripdown.
Hello David, nice to be talking to you.
This is amazing because we've been friends for ages and you're the person who brought me into Beaver Builder. You're the person who got me doing all of these videos. It's amazing. We've never done anything together till now.
Yeah, and you're blaming me, are you?
Yeah, it's all your fault.
That was a long. You were the first person ever to leave a comment on a blog. So for me, my blog, The Dynamic Beaver, that was the first comment I ever got. And we formed a bit of a friendship from there. I remember you also won the CSS Hero license as well back then. Because you were the first person to leave a comment. That was the competition. But yeah, we've been, well, it's got to be at least close to 4 years now. We've been friends.
Yeah. Well, for anyone who doesn't know who you are, your background and what you presently do, we've got your website on the screen now, haven't we? Your business website.
Yeah, my business website. I've had this going for a few years, kind of a side project because I was still employed as an industrial electrical sales engineer. Mm-hmm. That was my career for 25 years, pretty much. And I tried to start full-time web about 3-4 years ago. Actually, it was when I discovered Beaver Builder. That was part of the process of trying to find something that would allow me to create websites very quickly and also enable the clients to be able to edit the content themselves. And at that point, it was very complicated. I basically had chosen Genesis as a framework after much research. But with Genesis, you have to use column classes if you want more than one column in the editor. And pretty much most of the themes back then, that was the way it was. And when you start using, column classes and code in the background, and the customer wants to go in and change something, it's like spaghetti. I mean, they have no idea where to start because half the content in the editor is code. If they're in the code point of view, if they're in the standard view, then they don't get to see the page as it really is because the standard view can't show the 3 columns or wasn't able to back then. So I was looking for a solution that would be stable, and I went through all of them, Visual Composer, and God, there was so many that were coming out back at that point. Divi had their back-end builder, and I tried that. I just wasn't happy with anything. And in the end, Beaver Builder was just launched. It was actually Fastline. It was different. It was a different name when I found it. But Chris Lemmer, actually, it was his review that got me over there, and started working with that, and I loved it. So getting to the story and just taking this a full loop here. So I started building, websites with Beaver Builder and Genesis and Dynamic. And I was so enthralled by Beaver Builder and what you could do, I started recording videos showing people, demonstrating the capabilities of Beaver Builder because I just thought it was the most wonderful thing. So I started the Dynamic Beaver blog. So Dynamic obviously being for Dynamic Website Builder, and Beaver Builder, Beaver part of it being for Beaver Builder, and just started recording. And that's where you found me, I think.
Yes.
So that was a hobby. It took up a lot of time because just recording one video, essentially can turn into 3-4 hours. And I was working a full-time job, plus trying to get, my own little web agency going on the side. And it's not one of those things you can do when you're blogging. You can't just record the video and just say goodbye. You get a lot of people commenting, asking questions. So it takes up a lot of time. And when you're trying to spread that between, family, work, starting a business, it just gets a little crazy. So I took some time off. I haven't updated Dynamic Beaver for over a year now. Just left it there. And I've really just left it there for people to still access. There's still some good information on there. And I kind of don't want to take it down. But I plan on taking it down. Actually, I'm going to redirect a lot of the stuff to a new blog I'm going to be starting soon. The reason I'm moving away from Dynamic Beaver is because I'm moving away from Dynamic, and I didn't want to be associated with Dynamic. So it's been three years, and then just in March, actually on St. Patrick's Day, I retired from the electrical industry and went full-time with Electrical Web Solutions, and this is my site you can see now.
Yeah, well, I kind of been with you for most of that story, so it's been really interesting. I mean, there's stuff you've left out there. You are the voice of Beaver Builder because you did all of those videos, and also CSS Hero, you did the videos for them as well.
That's right. Yes, I got involved with CSS Hero. They asked me, they saw some of the Beaver Builder videos that I did. And that's how actually Beaver Builder got in touch with me. I recorded some videos showing, how to use their plugin. And they said, hey, can you do us a few training videos? We did a couple, and, they liked what they saw. And so we ended up doing about 35 of them in the end. Yeah. And then CSS Hero picked up on that, and they wanted to start an academy on how to use CSS Hero to make, CSS edits. And so I did quite a few videos for those guys too. And at one point, I was actually thinking of going that route of creating tutorials for people. Yeah. But it wasn't where my heart was. My heart was actually building websites. I like building websites. Yeah.
Well, it's a shame because you're really talented at doing that. So it's always an option, isn't it, for you to do that? Because, I do the videos because of actually the gap that you left. But, I would still prefer to listen to yours.
Oh, no, I don't know. I like listening to yours. Yeah, yours are good. And we'll have to do one together one time, just see what that comes out.
A bit low. Hey, so we move on to the site that we're looking at today.
Okay. So from electrical websites, so I only build websites for electrical people, electricians, electrical contractors. Okay, and so all my customers are all electrical. I've got a really tight niche, and so the latest one I've just finished actually would have been last week. Is called Electric MD, as in medical doctor, I guess, or whatever MD means, and hence the logo there with the cross in the red cross inside the light bulb. So these guys didn't have a website. Well, they did. They were working with a franchise and had been with the franchise for many years and decided that, obviously they ended the franchise and wanted to go on their own. And so they contacted me and said, hey, we need a website. We need one really quick. I had like 3 or 4 weeks to put this together. Wow. And so this is the result. I don't know if your video will actually take this, but we can scroll a little bit and show you, this is the front page, obviously. So they do residential electrical work, commercial work, and, listing all the types of work they do there with, that's actually a list module from Ultimate Add-ons. And then we've created some custom icons. So these are totally custom. They were created using the Ico Moon. Yes. You can upload an SVG file and create an icon, and then you can export that as an icon set and import it into Beaver Builder. And I'll show you the back end of that in a second, so you can see how that works. So those were all custom icons, and you can see they're all electrical icons. And then some examples of their work. It's really hard to get electricians to show you examples of their work, but this guy didn't do too bad. And then if you hover over, you've got obviously what they do. We've got a testimonial module and created a custom 5-star little graphic at the top there. And at the bottom here, originally I had an electrician say it was actually a stock image of an electrician, but the owner of this company hated it so much. He said, I don't want a stock image. I said, well, get me a photo of an electrician of one of your guys and we can put it in there, because I think it's important to have a face at the bottom here when you say need an electrician. Yes. I mean, this kind of works as a temporary thing, an overloaded outlet. But anyway, so they've got another image coming in here shortly. And there's a footer here that says standard across the board. And I did this in Themer, I think. So that's going across there. And then the request service button actually pops up a pop-up form, Gravity Forms, from Doug Belchamper, his plugin, the WPT Beaver. So I'll show you that in the back end in a second. So that's a quick one that's connected throughout the site. And actually, this is all connected to Google Analytics through a search company that they use. So a lot of this is actually being monitored through them. But that's the front end, and then we can obviously the residential pages. They've got an About Us page. Anyone can go and look at this. And then this button's actually added to the menu, the navigation. And it will, as you can see, it's actually a live telephone. So if you go to mobile, this will actually, you can click to dial. Same as these ones over here. They're all click to dial. So all the phone numbers are click to dial.
Cool. I mean, I was looking at it and I could see clearly that the main call to action throughout this site is to get folks to call that number.
Yeah, exactly.
I was just wondering, maybe taking a step back a little bit on the client. I'm just intrigued with everybody where they get the clients from. Where did this client come from? How did they
Actually,
contact you?
came from my website. Found me online, and got in touch with me, filled in my form, and said, "Hey, I need a website," which is not actually what I want from you. But I got on the phone through. I actually spoke to a friend of the owner of this company. He was the one, commissioned with finding a web design company, and had about a half an hour conversation with him. And he said, "Okay, this is a no-brainer. You're the guy," because I've got 25 years of electrical experience.
Yes.
So when it comes to an electrical company trying to explain what they do, or trying to explain some of their components, like some of these down here, what do you put as an icon for commercial lighting, or how do you define circuit breakers, or electrical panels, or these are all products that I've worked with for my whole life.
Yes.
And I know how to write the content. So if they write the content and need some terminology in here that they don't know how to write it, I can actually take their content and just edit it a little bit so it works and it flows. And I don't make any mistakes with renaming something wrongly, because I know the products and I know the services. So yeah, all my customers are honestly really happy by the time they get to the end. They're not happy at the beginning because they see the price or find out the price I charge. Mm-hmm. They think it's a little bit too much money. But by the end of the project, yes, the amount of time and frustration that we save them because of just knowing their industry really well is huge. And the last customer said to me, I said, "How was your experience?" He said, 3,000 times better than I ever thought it would be.
Wow. Are you able to share the sort of area of budget?
Yeah, I mean, essentially, start this one you're looking at right now. Mm-hmm. It ended up being a $4,000 website.
Right. Okay, that's good. Okay. Yeah.
And it's 20. If we go to the back end, I'll go to the back end right now. 24 pages, but some of those are duplicate pages and actually non-indexed and no follows for the Search Kings. They're the search company up here that putting the Google AdWords on those. So we don't want to actually index them. We just want them to land the landing pages essentially. And actually on the front end. So yeah, they're not even in the navigation here. But if I choose one, I should get there. Go Barrie Electrician, for example. Barrie is a little town close to Toronto. And you can see it there. So this one is a landing page specifically focused on Google AdWords targeting Barrie Electrician.
Right.
So it's a very quick, short one. And then if you go to the other areas, you actually, because these areas overlap, Newmarket and Aurora is very close to Barrie. And if you click on that one, it will take you to the Newmarket page. And it's very similar. The content is essentially duplicate content, so we don't want it indexed. Actually, one of them is indexed. This one is because they're based in Newmarket and Aurora, and they have an address in Newmarket. I've actually allowed them to index one page.
Yes.
And then these are all no-follow links, so they can't go after them. So that's the idea of a separate kind of campaign using pages that are not visible from the front end. You can only access these from the Google AdWords.
Yes. Some questions I've got to ask you. I might forget because I know kind of you've told me a lot about this kind of industry, and you have the same kind of issues that I do where the clients don't know what to ask for when they come for a website. So how are you kind of onboarding people when they come? Do they come with specific ideas about what they want their website to do, or do you still...
Good question, actually. Well, I onboard them. I use a project management system called Perfex. Mm-hmm. And I think I've told you about Perfex, but it's essentially a Code Canyon solution for project management, becomes CRM. I really just use it for project management. And I have, project stages set up in there. So I have a whole onboarding process that part of that is a questionnaire. It's essentially a form I'm sending out as a PDF right now, but I think this weekend I'm going to put it into Gravity Forms and make it easier for them to submit online. But it's a really detailed, I think it's about 7 or 8 pages of questions, and they're all focused on their electrical business. So it's not just a generic form that, for onboarding any business. They're actually the questions are really tied to their electrical business and how they want to work, because an electrician might not want to work with residential customers. They might be just a commercial electrician. They don't want to go into anyone's homes. They just want to do businesses. And another one, they might just want to work with main contractors, the builders, the actual main builders of the properties. And they do all the, new build work for new houses or new condos or office blocks, whatever. Then it's really getting down to who they want to target before we even start building the website.
Yes.
Because there's no point building a website that's got a whole bunch of residential pictures and happy couples looking at their new electrical panel if the guy does industrial work and never ever goes into a home. It just won't associate with the targeted customer when they land on the page.
Sure. Did this client know any of this kind of stuff? Were they the SEO aware, or did they?
Yeah, this guy actually knew something about it. Well, I don't think his personal knowledge was very intense. I think he had worked with the franchise who knew what they were doing. And so they were ones responsible for getting, search results for him. So he was a little bit savvy. I've had other customers that don't have a clue. Actually, most of them don't have a clue. They look at a website as an expense. And they don't see how they can get benefit from it. So, and my job is now to try and persuade them that it's an investment, and the more effort and time and money they put into their website, the better results they're going to get. It's just like anything in life, really. I mean, if you don't put the effort in, you're not going to get anything out of it. Yeah, a lot of them build the website and just that's it, and they never ever do anything with it again.
Well, yeah. My favorite customers.
Oh yeah, they think, well, I've got a website now. Why isn't it working? Why aren't customers coming to my website? Why aren't I getting any leads from my website? It's hilarious. It's like, because you're not promoting it, you're not doing any extra work, you're not telling people about it, you're not updating it. You've got everything's about you on your website, nothing about what's in it for them.
Yes.
And and it looks like it came from 1999. And I can show you some really bad electrical websites, but yeah. So it's an interesting question, but yeah, quite a comprehensive questionnaire to start things off, and then typically we'll do a couple of markups based on what feedback we've got from them, as in what sites they like. And what I typically do is I send them to all the electrical websites we've done, and that way they get a sense for how we do things, but also it kind of limits them to styles that we do. So they don't go after Theme Forest or Template Monster and choose some theme that looks fantastic in a demo, but is really difficult to put together in real life.
Well, I was wondering about that as well, control over the site, because something that I suffer with is the fact that if you do let clients decide that the kind of look of it, they might go to those places and find a really complex header that they don't need, but it just looked fancy to them, and they say, can you make this? Did you get kind of control over the look of this? Was you able to sort of set some, confines in which they could work? Or
yeah, actually, you know what? This guy liked one of my other sites I'd done a lot, and it was very, very apparent that he loved it. Actually, I can bring that up. You'll see a little bit of similarities here, okay? But whoops, if I can actually spell it. But he liked this site very, very much, and it was like, oh, I want it to just be exactly like that site. And I said, well, I can't make it exactly like that site because it's obviously a different customer. Yeah. So this is the other customer, Powerhouse Electric. This site built on Dynamics still. Actually, it's a few years old, this one. But as you can see, the same kind of layout, very similar.
Yes.
Okay. But I obviously had to make it different enough. Let me just go back to the homepage on this one.
Yeah.
That this one was boxed, so that was a big difference I had straight away. Okay, so I could bring in let's bring this tab over here so I'm right next to it, bring in the large header image, and I didn't want to give him a slider, but he wanted a slider, so he's got his slider with some of the options that he does a lot of commercial lighting like that one. And as you can see, the commercial and residential services below are residential commercial, but got to try and make it look completely different.
Yes.
So this one, we've got the colors were the same, red and black as well, right? So this one, as you can see, I've got an accent on the heading there, and I've also got a description in here beside the list.
Yes.
And on this one, he's just got the list, and he wanted it that way. He didn't want the description. And then obviously we've got the buttons to go to those pages, and then right below that, I don't have that call to action in there. I go into some of their recent projects. And I actually took these photographs because this is a good friend of mine, actually. So that's actually the guy that owns this company right there in front of that freshie. So, he said, I wanted it exactly like that. I said, I can't do it exactly like that. And even if you get down to the footer, you can see that there is some difference. We've only got 3 columns down here. And who we are is still there, what we do, but, get in touch is different and the credentials. So I tried to make it as different as possible between the two, just to protect the original client, but obviously trying to make the new client happy. And he's absolutely over the moon with it. So
yeah, I mean, it's such advantage to knowing an industry and having a niche, because you can cut out a lot of the time that you would spend having to sort of reinvent the wheel or learn how you might put out the content for a new type of industry. So that saves a whole bunch of time, doesn't it?
It does, because I do the same thing every time. It's bang, bang, bang. And, a lot of the elements I can reuse and then restyle. Yeah. So I don't have to start from scratch.
Yeah. And in effect, you'd only spend all of that time yourself to end up coming to the same point anyway. So it's not like the client loses from it.
No. And as long as they get, a fantastic site that makes them look good and also, serves their purpose with calls to action and gets people to call them, then, that's my job done. And so let's go. Shall we go look in the back end? Because I'm dying to show you some of the stuff in here. Okay. So we obviously got dashboard. I don't really do much with the dashboard. Because they won't go in here, to be honest. Okay. So I could honestly, the amount of customers that I know have gone into the back end of their website, I could probably count on one hand.
Yes.
They never go in. I give them their own access. They never go in, and they just call me and say, "Hey, Colin, can you change this?" So the back end is just the way I like it, I guess, if anything. But it's organized a little bit. But if they do come in here, there are a couple of things, and something's brand new since yesterday, David, thanks to you.
Oh.
This contact support button was not there yesterday. It is now because of introducing me to main WP.
Yes.
It's all your fault. I spent a whole day getting that set up. It's worth it. So what the goal I have, if they do come into the back end, I want them to make it look like there is some branding, there is some professionalism brought into how this was built and how things are managed. And so one of the things we do is now we have the contact support. If you click on that button, essentially it opens up, a message box where they can message us or message me, because there's only me. That comes in from main WP. I'll get into that one in a little bit more. But then we've got the EWS. So EWS is Electrical Web Solutions. It becomes EWS, and this is the video user manuals you're familiar with. Basically, you click on videos, it will take you into the back end and show you all these different videos. And this has been branded as well, right? Because at the box, it doesn't say EWS website user manual. But these are all the videos, and funny enough, the ones at the bottom, the page builder ones, if you play any of these are actually my voice, because they did a deal with Beaver Builder and got these videos from them. So these are all the videos that I recorded for Beaver Builder originally. So it's kind of a cool touch, especially with a customer and they go and play one of the videos and it's my voice.
Yes.
They've been dealing with me. So that they've also got the user manual that if you click on that, it comes up with the PDF version they can click on. So that's just a courtesy. I have it as part of my WP Elevation membership, so I put that in there. And then where would you like to go? Would you like to go look at plugins?
Yes, I'd love to look. Actually, one thing we didn't mention, and I forgot this on the former Stripdown, I forgot to mention the theme. You're using the Beaver Builder theme.
Right. Yes. So, yes, this is the Beaver Builder theme. Good. Let's start there, shall we? So it's funny because we'll go into themes and you'll see the back end on the themes here. But this is customized for the Beaver Builder agency because I run the agency version of Beaver Builder. And what that enables you to do is customize the theme, image, and title. So this one here is the Electrical Web Solutions theme, is actually the Beaver Builder main theme. Okay. This one over here is a Beaver Builder child theme, which I've created, and I upload this as the child theme. So when we start a new project, the first thing we do is upload the Beaver Builder theme. Then I upload the Electrical Web Solutions child theme, which essentially is a copy of the Beaver Builder child theme. And then we upload the plugin, and that way we can actually brand this one. And I've got a branding kind of method of doing it, and it's pretty simple. Just copy and paste into boxes. I can show you that in a second. But we always leave the standard WordPress theme in as well, just as a backup, because sometimes if something goes wrong, it's really good just to have one of the standard WordPress themes in there just to resort back to in case there is a problem. So you'll see 2017 is the latest one. I always just leave that in there just in case.
Yes.
Doesn't need to be there, but it's a good thing to do, because sometimes if you do have a theme problem, let's say if Beaver Builder pushed out a theme with a problem and it was actually on the main theme, it could actually kick your whole website down, and until they get a fix, you've got to scramble around. At least we can actually go into the back end here and change the theme over to 2017 temporarily if we had to. So that's essentially there as a backup. So the options to actually customize that master theme or the main theme are built into Beaver Builder settings. So I'll go there before we go into plugins, and I'll show you that. And you'll see that I've also branded the builder. So instead of saying Beaver Builder, it says EWS Builder. So in the settings, I'm going to click this, and you'll see the branding options in the background here. And as you can see there, the plugin branding. So this is for the plugin itself, okay? Yes. But what you'll see is the theme down here, so the theme branding. So this is Electrical Web Solutions theme, and then obviously we've described it as our main theme because it's not the child theme, and theme company name, did the standard stuff. And that image is actually, you'll see it's an image that's permanently on my website, so it goes and borrows it from there, which is a good practice to do if you're installing this or doing this on a lot of websites, because it's a pain in the butt trying to upload that into the themes folder to replace the standard one that Beaver Builder uses. It's just easier just to put it on one server and then point to that all the time. So that's really the branding part of the agency version of Beaver Builder. You get to obviously put the icon in as well, and then change the theme and the plugin. So that will take us over to plugins, and you'll see that when we get into install plugins, you'll see the Beaver Builder plugin is actually called EWS Builder right there. And it's a drag and drop front end builder. That's the same description as you'll get in the Beaver Builder.
Yes.
Then you've got the themer add-on, and that inherits the name that you call your builder. So if I'd have called this, EWS Page Builder and put page in there, that would be EWS Page Builder theme add-on. So that inherits that. And then with the Power Pack, and I tried to keep some connection to the original name so you know which one it is if you go in here, right? So I called this one, this is actually the Power Pack add-ons for Beaver Builder. So we've got EWS Power Pack. And if you come down, or actually up here, we've got the EWS add-ons, which is the ultimate add-ons. So it's all these kind of are all connected together with EWS. Now this one's the new one that came in yesterday, which is the branding for main WP. And I branded that one as a Site Care Connect, because that's essentially what this is. It's connecting back to as Site Care. And then there's the reports that come in as well. So I'm going to go back up to the top. That was just getting to the Beaver Builder. I'll go through all the plugins, very quickly.
Great.
Okay.
Yes.
So I love Jay's admin page spider. It gets installed by default along with Beaver Builder because it just makes it so much easier in the back end. Like for example, up here, I can access any page with the builder right away. All these pages without actually having to go into pages, all pages, then trying to find it. I go into here. I can go to any of these right now. I can go to that employment page, click on it, and the builder starts up, and I'm in. If I don't want to go into the builder, I can also here. So just the extra menu items at the top here that Jay's plugin adds are fantastic. And I can also there's also some other things that I can do once I'm actually in the page builder or that part of it. You can access, once you actually load up the page builder, he gives you other options there. So I think it's like $19 for a year. And then you get 50% or 40% renewal. I just renewed it, and it's absolutely a no-brainer. The amount of time that I save when I'm building in the background, and we've got to go from this page to that page, this pays for itself within probably about an hour.
Yes.
you know. So admin page spider, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he actually, for a single license or something for a year, he was charging only a couple of dollars or something for
Yeah,
actually.
something really low. But if you in show notes, if you can put a link to his plugin, that honestly, it's out of all the add-ons, it's probably one of them I would definitely keep all the time because it makes it so much easier. So Akismet, it's not activated. Until they start taking comments on their blog, there's no need to have it. You've got another option for that I think might look at. I think you said some good things about it, and I can't remember what it's called, but you.
Yeah, anti-spam bee. Because the problem with the Kismet is if you're using it for commercial purposes, although I don't think they chase you, you're supposed to pay them, aren't you?
Yes, exactly. And this would be a commercial site, right? So
yeah. Anti-spam bee, yeah, it's really good. In fact, my experience is limited with blogs and spam, but in my experience, it did a better job.
Right.
Yeah, Kismet had a bit of a habit of kind of removing genuine comments too much, but it could have been me not knowing the settings.
Or just being associated to some shady people, you know?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, so in Kismet, I'm gonna actually install yours from now on for people that are actually taking comments on their websites, because most of my customers don't ever put a blog on there. So
yeah.
Anyway, I just keep it there. It's ready to go. But it's actually going to get replaced by anti-spam bee now. Thank you for that, David. Broken link checker. Okay, I don't usually install this, but main WP wanted to, so I thought, hey, why not? It's actually a good thing to have on there because if they do actually go in here and edit something, at least we know we've got a broken link. So this one was actually added automatically from main WP. Wasn't there yesterday. The next one, email address encoder. This is a really cool little plugin, really low overhead. I mean, I think the whole file size on this thing is less than a K. And I should probably demonstrate this one because actually This is a pretty good one. Okay, so let's go to Licensed Electrician. Let's go to the contact page. On the contact page, a lot of customers want to have an email address on there, and you shouldn't do that because you're going to open yourself up to spam with the mail to link, you know. Mm-hmm. Okay, so if we go into, you know what, I'll just duplicate this tab and inspect it. So you know what, I'm just going to view source. There we go. So on this page here right now, you know what, let me go back one sec and turn off the plugin. Let me deactivate it. Okay, so that one, and then we'll deactivate. This is a really good demonstration to show you how this works. And there we go. It's deactivated. We'll clear the cache. And if I go back to that contact page, I'm going to have to refresh it because obviously. Okay. So if we view source now, we scroll down somewhere on this page, or actually I can do a control F and find it. Mm-hmm. I can do a mail. There we go. You can see the full email address there, and that's what the spam robots go looking for. They look for that mail to link. Can you see that? You've got mail to service. They're all over the place on this page, right? Because essentially that's how it works. So you can see all the email addresses. Now I'm going to keep this page like that. Okay, I'm going to go back over to the plugins. I'm going to reactivate that. And what this does, it actually cloaks all the email addresses on the page. So I'm going to clear the cache. I'll come back to this view source. So hopefully I can refresh the page and it'll be where it was before. Okay, so now you see those email addresses are completely different.
Yes.
You see they're totally masked out. And it doesn't matter which one it was or whether it's a link or a text, they're all now really encrypted, so no one can, the robots won't find them.
That is brilliant.
It does it automatically. All you got to do is turn the plugin on, and what it will do is, as the page is obviously drawn or is rendered, it obviously goes in and just replaces them with the email addresses with an encrypted version of it.
Top tip.
Yeah, it's awesome, and it's really small. So the name of that plugin is the email address encoder, and it's by Till Cruz. You can find it in the repository. It's totally free. Yeah, and very small. It's got good reviews and protects those emails because every customer of mine always wants their email address on there. So EWS add-ons is the ultimate add-ons.
Yes.
Pack for Beaver Builder. EWS Builder is Beaver Builder. EWS Builder Themer add-on is Beaver Themer. Okay. EWS Power Pack is Beaver Power Pack, the WP Beaver Power Pack. EWS SiteCare Connect is actually main WP rebranded. Okay, and then that rebrands the client reports. So this is a customer that's paying me for. So I wanted a way to create client reports for them, and I want to try and do it automatically. So I had a conversation with you, and you showed me the back end. So I made the plunge, and now I'm in the process of creating reports for this particular customer automatically.
Yes.
So that's one of the things you need there for that. Google Analytics is just the monster insights. It's not activated right now because they haven't given me the access to the Google Analytics account.
Yes.
Okay, so there's no point in activating it until I have that. Google PageSpeed Insights is another one that's added by main WP, and really it's unnecessary. But you know what? It gives me a good idea of the page speed, and if it falls down too much, then at least I've got a warning that things are going really slow. Gravity Forms is standard now. I used to use Formidable, but I've found that Gravity Forms has become a really good stable form plugin for us, and I like it so much more than Formidable. I bought into a lifetime deal with Formidable, but I don't know. Gravity Forms just works really well, and it has a lot of integrations already built into the developer version. Like Stripe, for example, is one that you don't get with Formidable.
Great.
So iThemes Security Pro. We put that on every website we do because we have a lifetime license. We bought their lifetime license and we never have to pay for it again.
Yes.
And because I've started using main WP as of yesterday, and I'm still not 100% confident with it, I've left managed WP on. That's the worker. So we were using managed WP. Next one would be PrettyLink. Okay, so PrettyLink, I've got the pro version of this on my website, and it allows you to create different links. So it allows you to create your own links. So for example, I use this all the time because most of the customers have mail through Zoho Mail. And if you try to remember where to log in for Zoho Mail, it's a pain in the butt. I mean, you can Google it and go mail login for Zoho, but it's not something easy to remember. What's really easy for them to remember is go to my website /mail. Or if you want to send someone to your Facebook page, is go to mydomain.com /Facebook or /Google Plus or Google My Business. So what I do with, especially with customers that are looking for reviews and people to find them really easy on all the social networks, is we use PrettyLink Pro to add the descriptor to the end of their domain. And if I go into this in a second, I'll show you. Actually, you can do that right now. So they haven't set up their Facebook group. Actually, they have set up their Facebook group. They haven't set up their Twitter account yet. So if you clicked on this right now, if I actually clicked on this, it would take them to their Facebook page. Okay, but the link, if I actually click on it just so you can see what you get when you edit it, this is what it does. So it's a permanent link. No temporariness needed on it. If anyone puts in, this is actually the URL. So York Regional Electrician is what their Facebook address is. But if anyone puts in electricmd.ca /Facebook, it takes them to the Facebook page.
Gotcha.
And as you can see, so it's a really, if I, for example, go over here, we'll just take out that last bit there. And so for them trying to remember, how do I find you on Facebook? All you got to do is that, okay, and click that, and off we go to Facebook.
Cool.
Really, and it's easy for the client to remember. It's easy for people to remember, or their staff to remember. Oh, you want to find us on Facebook? Just go to our domain and /Facebook.
Yes.
And it's free. The PrettyLink is in the repository. You don't need the pro version to do this. The options on here are you can actually track how many people go through it as well, which is really useful. Okay. Obviously, we don't want Google to follow it through, so there's a no follow option on that, right? Yes. But in the pro options, you really don't get much other than you can redirect to. There's a few cloaking things you can do and stuff, but if you're a marketer and you're doing it, Pretty Link Pro is massive. It's great because you can put links throughout your posts and your pages and mask them and all sorts of things. It's really good. But for a standard customer like an electrician,
Yes.
or plumber or dentist, just to make their life easier, it's a great plugin to put in there to help them remember where their mail is. So /mail, and they go to, if I go back there and put in mail up there instead of, and this helps them and their customers go to mail, it takes them to the Zoho Mail login.
Yes.
Right, so they don't have to remember this, which is foreign to them, Zoho.com mail login. They only have to remember their own domain name, which they can always remember, right? And mail at the end of it. So it's a really good plugin, and it's free. I mean, the only thing you see is this ugly upgrade to Pro, but it's really good. It's been around for a long time. It works really well. Next one, I'm going to run through these quick. Seed Prod, this is the professional version of Seed Prod coming soon. So essentially when we do the development site, we put this up on the front end. Nice thing about Seed Prod is it locks everyone out.
Yes.
So I deactivate it because there's no point having a plugin running when it's not used.
Yes.
But when you activate it, it adds an extra code on the end of the URL. And once you actually go to that the first time, it will install a cookie, and then you can access the site from there on. So only the people with the link can access it. So next one is Updraft Plus. I've just moved over from Backup Buddy, and part of the reason was because Domain WP has great Updraft Plus capabilities built into it. So I'd already made the decision to go to Updraft Plus. I'd just done a couple of migrations, and it was so easy. So I've done the Updraft Plus and dropped Backup Buddy. Next one is user manuals, video user manuals. You saw that one. WordPress importer is I've imported stuff in here. So obviously I'm not using it, so it's not activated, but kept it there. WP Rocket, we can go into the settings in that one in a minute. Then WPD Beaver Popup, and it's really good. It's really light. It's I can show you around that a little bit in a second. Yellow Pencil is something just used for quick edits, and it really is just as a selector. I can code, but it's sometimes just easy to just go and find out what that particular element is with a click, and then just grab it and slide it, and then copy the code, put it into the custom CSS area. And then the last one is Yoast SEO. So that one install as standard, and I'd like to see those little green lights at the top there for thing. This one's actually really important. That something that a lot of people don't realize is that if you share something in Facebook, you basically get a card created, and it shows an image. And a lot of people don't know how to control that image. Well, in Yoast, you can, if you go to your social tab here, by the way, you might not see all of these links, and you go into your Facebook, you can actually choose a URL from your media library so that when it's shared, your link is shared on Facebook, it will display this image instead. And so Yoast has got the free version has got a lot of stuff built in, which is really useful, that you don't necessarily realize that it's there. But obviously this one loads that image. I'm not gonna click on it, but essentially then they can customize the Facebook experience if someone shares them. And the same for Twitter. This one you get to choose a large image, but I don't think you actually get to choose the image on this one. But it's good to know the stuff in the back end that Yoast has. But where do we go? We wanted to go back to, there's a couple of things I wanted to cover with you, was Gravity Forms. Oh yeah, okay. So let me go back to Gravity Forms. So on Gravity Forms, I'm going to bring up a form. Actually, there'd be one here. Normally, when you create a Gravity Form and you've got the placeholders like first and last there, it puts first and last as sub-labels underneath.
Yes.
Okay, which is a pain in the butt, okay, and there's no way to change that. And I was creating custom CSS to remove it. And then one day I was like, there's got to be a better way. And I want to give the guy credit. So the guy was Chris Eggleston, and his website is chriseggleston.com. He had a little tip on there about Gravity Forms placeholders. And essentially, you need to put one little bit of code in your functions PHP, and I'll show you what it does. So you need to go into editor. Now, here's another thing. So I go to appearance, and that's where the editor usually is, but there's no editor. So a little tip on this one is go to your security, go to settings. So this is iThemes security. And in the WordPress tweaks section, going a little bit slow here. There we go. So down here, WordPress tweaks, configure settings. There is an option in here to disable the file editor, which is not a bad thing to do, okay? Especially when you've got customers that don't know what they're doing. So I'm going to actually uncheck that, save the settings. Okay, so if I go back to my appearance now, I've probably got to refresh this. So let's go back to appearance. And the editor's there now, as you can see, right? So we'll click on that. And if we choose our functions PHP, which is just there, so the bit of code you need to put in, add filter, okay, and this one will actually show. I'm glad I don't know why that happened there. Anyway, I'm going to update that file, so I just leave it there, okay. So that's there now. If I go to forms, and I'll choose one of these forms, I'll use the contact as one. Okay, you see how they've got the first and last on the bottom there? Those actually show up in the form. So if I click on this, and if I go to appearance, I now have this sub-label placement. I now have hidden as an option.
Okay.
See, that's not usually there. And you can also do that with the field. You can hide the field labels too by adding that one bit of code. So I'll give you that bit of code, but if you put that into the functions file, it hides all the. See, it's gone now. You can't even gone from the preview. I was actually manually CSSing those out, and then I added that one bit of code. It's just that makes my life so easy. So that's a little tip for Gravity Forms. They disabled it. It used to be there, and then that just brings that functionality. It's built into Gravity Forms already. You've just got to enable it.
Yeah, clearly, because there's a lot of options there, and you've only got one line of code. So yeah, it's clear.
Yeah, one line of code, and it's safe enough just to do it in the editor as well. You know, so appearance and editor. So that one line of code will get it for you, and the functions PHP. There, just add filter. That bit there is all you need to add, and that gives you that functionality.
That's really good.
Okay. Yeah, good little tip there. What else was there? So Doug's Beaver pop-ups. Yeah. So with these request a service, this is really great actually. So I create Doug's pop-ups so I can edit this. What it allows me to do is launch the Beaver Builder. It's called EWS Builder here, and then this is a Gravity Form it's a Gravity Form module. So this is actually from PowerPack. So this is the Gravity Form module from Beaver Add-ons PowerPack that I've in there, and I've styled it in here. This is great for styling, like for border color and stuff. It's really good for styling forms.
Yes.
So that essentially is just in a pop-up like that for that purpose of when they request service. It's just there like that. And that is the Gravity Form put in through the. I mean, I could just put the shortcode in there if I wanted to, rather than go through the module. But you know what? It makes it look nicer with the module there. So the pop-up options, you go in here. You actually have the pop-ups type. So this is the modal, or I can have it fly out. That I wanted to pop up. The overlay type. So this is actually the background that it dims the background once the pop-up comes up and puts the focus on your pop-up. You can choose the color or an image. So you can actually have an image in the background there. I just choose a color, and it's like a dark gray. And you can change the opacity on this, because this was actually black. And then you told me that. Thank you very much. I didn't notice that you could change the opacity on there, but you can change the opacity. You choose the color, which you want to see a little bit of the background come through. The icon size is this icon here. Okay, I've got it set to 32. You can change it also on different sizes. So that's actually good to know. I didn't realize that must have been a new one, because I didn't see that as an option there. So if I just actually put something in there, does that come up live? I don't know. I'll leave it on 32. If someone's using their finger, they probably want it to be big enough. But yeah, you can change the icon size. So there's that icon. Then relative to the pop-up. So I put it at 50 pixels from the top, 50 pixels from the right, and that will always be off that right-hand corner. You can also change it from the page. So if I actually go over here and relative to overlay, I don't know, I don't think there's no updates, but it would be up there in the corner.
Yes.
Right. So, but I like it to be close to the pop-up and that they can actually see it there. So the width is set for the width of the pop-up there. Okay. And border radius you can actually add for the window. I did it in the form, but you can actually add your border radius there. And a shadow if you want. No shadow on this one. And then you've got your animations. So you've got zoom in, all those options to pop in there and pop out. So it's really simple. It's very, very easy to do because you create the pop-up in Beaver Builder, and then you've got these options on the back end when you're designing it to what it looks like and how it reacts there. I'm going to click Done, and I'm just going to discard the changes because I don't know if I did change anything, but I'll just do that. And so that's actually another page that's in there right now. So if I close that, I'll go back to the dashboard. Did I just close it? I did. I've done that before. I've done that before. Anyway, I'm still logged in over here. So yeah, so that's, I think, covers all the plugins. Was there anything else I was going to cover on the plugins? There was one more thing, I think, if I remember rightly. So the editor, other than one other little tip for Beaver Builder users is that I don't know if they know you can put inline styles when you're doing a text box, because this is one I talk to people, they go, oh no, I didn't know that. So let's just show you quickly how that works. Let's just go and create a page. Let's just add a new page temporarily for this. We'll call it demo. And we'll start the page builder. Okay, so we'll just do a blank page. Bring a heading out here. Okay, this one's probably the best one to demonstrate it with, and I'll just center it so we can see it up there and bring that down. Okay, so let's just type in heading, and you can see it. You can see it up there. All right, but let's say we wanted to go heading, I don't know, 22. And it gets really big if we just change that to, let's change it to H1. So I don't remember what H1 set at really here. Okay. And it's obviously the default H1 style. Okay.
Yes.
There's no override on there. And I recommend that you don't override on here if you can. There are exceptions, but if you can keep all these down at default and set your styles in your theme, it's best to do that. So one thing that people don't realize is that you can style this inline. So for example, if I wanted this to be, bold, I can put a bold tag in there and actually just bold the heading. Okay. And so I just close that tag right there. I don't know if that worked. I might have to put a span in on that one actually, but if I wanted to put a break in, so this is actually a good one. You see how I added that there? So it now spreads it onto 2 lines. It's really good. And if you can actually put a span style in here, but you can see that any type of HTML code you put in here, you can actually do it on a line, and it's something that a lot of people don't realize. And you can even put links in here and into that header that's separate from that. So as long as if you use span styles or classes, then you can do that. But that's something I just wanted to share with people because it's one of those things a lot of people go, oh my God, I didn't know I could do that. Oh, that would have saved me so many times.
First, do you want to tell us a bit about that issue that I knew that you had?
It was in Rockets. Yeah. Okay. So if we go into WP Rocket here, I kept getting 500 server errors, like constantly, while I was working on client sites, even sites I wasn't working on, and it was really frustrating. And I kind of went all over the place, went to some different places to ask for advice, and I thought I was blaming SiteGround, but they were some of the accounts weren't on the same server at SiteGround. It was just peculiar, and it was all down to something I was doing. But it came back to WP Rocket with one of their updates recently, and the updates, it was a big update. I think it was version 2, and they introduced a lot of new things and really exciting things to look at. and it was going to speed up sites. And actually, when the default install, it's speeded up one of my sites from a pingdom 83 to like 95 without doing anything.
Ooh.
Yeah, and it was crazy. Anyway, for long story short, I kept getting all these 500 server errors, and I keep investigating, and it comes down to a setting at the bottom here called cache lifespan.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I actually change this to the default, this is the one it comes when it's set, it comes at 24 hours. Okay, and as soon as you install it, they actually give you a warning now. It says reduce lifespan to 10 hours or less if you notice issues that seem to appear periodically. Okay, and if you click on that description, it actually goes into the nonces and cache lifespan. Okay, so I'll actually open that in a new link. And it tells you about essentially the tokens, the security tokens in WordPress. If you start getting a whole bunch of 500 server errors, especially if you're logged in as admin, and what I was doing was logging in as admin. I don't bother logging out when I'm finished for the day. I might not come back to that site for more than 24 hours later. And then when it came in 24 hours later and I go to refresh the screen, I get the 500 server error. And what I had to do, it was really simple. I mean, it would open up no problem in an incognito window, or if I fired up Firefox, I could get in no problem. It comes down to the cookies that WordPress, the admin cookies, gives you. And when you've got this set to 24 hours, it can cause problems. I'm not saying it causes problems on every site, but if I change that to 10, that warning goes away. And since I've gone in and changed all my sites to 10, I have had no 500 server errors at all.
That's really
so
useful.
It's a good one to, I think if I was WP Rocket, I would default that to 10. I don't know why they default it to 24 when it's the one that's causing problem. If you want to increase it, then do so at your own risk. But right now, I have to change it on all the sites with WP Rocket. I would have had to do that manually until I got main WP yesterday, but now I can actually just force it out across the whole network from main WP by changing it in the master file, which is something really nice. And there's only one little caveat to that, to the main WP. Main WP doesn't have all the iThemes Security Pro options in it. So if you do use the basic settings from main WP for iThemes Security, it enables the two-factor identification. That one. Yeah, two-factor of authentication. You see, I turn it off because it's such a pain in the butt to have to look for that email every time, especially if you're going in and out the site on admin all the time. So typically while I'm in development and for a little time afterwards, I turn it off. And then if I'm hardly going back in there later on, which I probably won't be going into many of these dashboards anyway from now on, now again with the main WP.
Yes.
I can put the two-factor authentication back in. And essentially what that does is just sends you an email with a code, and you have to put that into the pop-up box that it gives you.
Yes.
But if you set it up from main WP, it enables that automatically. So every site I was going into, I got to do the two-step. But the WP Rocket thing is a good little tip. That if you start getting 500 errors, then that's what it comes down to.
And you're only going to get that, I guess, if you're somebody who's an admin who's logged in. You're not going to get it if you're just a normal punter going to the site.
Yeah, I believe that if you're a normal person coming to the site and making a quick change and exiting, I don't think you'll get that because, well, it depends if they log out or not.
Oh, okay.
Because if they don't log out and then they come back 26 hours later, then there's a possibility they could get it too.
Okay, yeah, I see. I mean, the one thing that I wasn't quite aware of because I'm not using it, because now I'm doing the same. I'm looking at this and thinking, do I need to lower my refresh? I mean, on some of the sites I've done, I've kind of set them indefinitely so they never recache. And the preloading is the...
Yeah, I was just going to go there because that was another part of that actually makes a difference. So what happens when the cache expires, which is set to 10 hours now, okay? What happens, the preload will go and grab all your site information from a sitemap if you've got sitemap software installed like Yoast, okay? And what it does, it runs automatically when the cache lifespan expires, okay? So that then now you get a fresh cookie, or it should I say not a fresh cookie, it actually refreshes the database here to say that cookie's still okay. And my understanding of it, I might be completely wrong about that, but essentially it reloads the cookie and you can get back into your site without those 500 errors. So this two-step thing is one to change it to less than 10 or less on the front end, on the basic end, and then make sure you've got the activate sitemap based cache preloading on the back here. And if you've got Yoast installed, it'll automatically pick it up anyway.
Cool.
And if you don't, you just need to put the if you don't have Yoast, you just need to put the sitemap URL in here.
Yeah, does it not run? I mean, I think it's before that came along. This is where I'm not sure of my configurations any longer, but before the pre-cache used to run on its own robots, didn't it? So it didn't need a sitemap.
Yes, exactly. They used to do it off of theirs, and you can still do that down here, the preload bot. If you can either choose to do it manually, and then I think you get the option, to redo it manually by a button. The automatic one is actually their bot going around.
Yes.
And doing this, but it should only be used on well-performing servers. Okay, so once activated, it gets triggered automatically after you add or update content on your website. So worst thing that's possible is, and this is probably what I also had these enabled as well. That is actually a good point. I did have them both enabled, manual and automatic, and because I was making so many changes while I was editing the site, it was triggering this automatically every change. You can imagine how often it was going back in and doing it. So it was a really weird combination of things that kept giving me those 500 errors, but hey, I'm not getting them anymore. So and the customers weren't getting them. So it was, it was just me on the admin side, and I just cleared my cookies and off we went. We were good.
Hey, we've been on for quite a long time, so we probably better.
I knew that was going to happen.
We didn't go. I'm sure we didn't go where the questions were supposed to go, but we probably did cover everything. So we've really covered this site. We've talked about what the client wanted, and I know already that there wasn't any issues with it apart from you'll say 500 errors. This is the problem, isn't it? When you and I get together, we can go on forever. I still feel like there's more to talk about, but we're going to have to say goodbye, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. Absolutely. I'm going to have to let you go. It's getting close to tea time over there. It's 5 o'clock where you are.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, yeah. Afternoon tea. I'm in the UK now.
That's right. Oh, yes. Afternoon tea. Don't forget the biscuits.
Anyway, a pleasure as always. So,
it was, David. We'll catch up soon, mate. Okay?
Yeah. Okay. We better say goodbye to everyone then.
Right.
So, bye-bye.
Goodbye, everyone. See ya. Bye.